Titillate the juices. You know what? Woo! Right now. Woo! Woo!
Dr. Hughes invites followers. Oh, let's see if they increase now. Me too. Yeah, wow. Dr. Hughes.
Mock-ass mock.
He's a great podcaster.
Trick-ass mock.
Acknowledge me. We coming for you, nigga. Fat!
Yeah, Dr. Hughes, here we go. Keep plugging yourself, that's cool.
First up, a man whose looks will serve your inner needs and desires.
Dr. Hughes.
That's right, the Dr. Huge Show back again. Popping both quads in the ring. I love that clip. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Vince he's running down there to fix the Royal Rumble that Batista and John Cena messed up. I don't know if you guys know the story, but Batista went to put him into a power bomb, and he swung back, and John jumped up so fast that they both just went toppling over the ropes. Vince had to come running from backstage, and he dove in the ring. Like, I'm trying to think of a wrestler that dives in the ring like that. I guess none of them, otherwise they would blow both their quads out probably.
Like Superman. He dove in like Superman.
He must have whacked at least one of them, like on the hard part of the ring coming in.
I thought he cracked both. I thought he just tore both of them off the bone.
Yep,
there and then, tried to stand up and was like, nope.
He fell right on his ass, and then when he finished the show from sitting on his butt.
Yeah, I think I would have had a lot more pain in my face if that had just happened to me. So I always say fair play to him for that. It's funny that it happened, but the fact that I didn't just start crying was like, yeah, well done.
He's a man's man. The grapefruits, remember? He's got grapefruits, everybody. Yeah, so welcome to the Dr. Huge Show. This is Danny Damage. I'm Dr. Huge, of course. Expert analyst. No Sleaze this week. No King Reezy this week. But you never know. We may see them during the week or next week. So stay tuned for all the millions of their fans out there. You got your millions, Danny. They come in and they tell me they only want to hear from you. They're like, shut up, Dr. Huge. So
sorry.
Maybe, I'm sure they'll be here today. Check in and make sure.
Please, everybody.
Yep. Here's one. Sasha Raines in the house. Hello, Sasha Raines, expert analyst herself, correspondent for the show. She's going to Raw. Aren't you going to Raw in June this year, Sasha Raines? There's a Raw going on around here, I think, around that time as well in my area. I probably won't be going because those tickets, it's pretty pricey these days,
Especially considering like 50% of what you see will be adverts for other things.
Yeah. A lot of advertisements.
It's a lot of money.
Parking is like $40 now in the city for a lot of areas. The drinks, the food, the little snacks you get. Is it really worth it? Anytime I've been to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, right in the middle of the show, I'm like, I wish I was home just watching this. And then I think to myself, I'm like, I paid to be here and I'm paying for this and that. I'm like, I could have just spent literally a fraction of the money and just been more comfortable right now. Because after an hour at a live event, I'm done with it. That's why when people talk about going to WrestleMania and stuff, I'm not even considering. That's insane to me. Imagine sitting in that sea of people for 2 days.
Yeah, it's almost like a festival, isn't it? A music festival. That sort of environment.
I mean, if you're young, I remember going to music festivals when I was 18. A day, I could do a day, 18, from 10 in the morning to 2 in the morning the next night, maybe even later, and I'd be totally fine the next day. Yeah, there's no way I could never pull that, especially for a wrestling event with all these smelly people out here. Yuck.
Yeah. at least when you go to a music festival, like I did some like 5, 6, 7 days when I was younger. But at least you can attempt to not have a shower because they have showers nowadays, and that's not camping. But yeah, just in your tent with a carrier bag and just like wet wipes, a pack full of them. Just that was as close to a shower as you'd really get. with the wrestling crowd, yeah, that's not going to do much.
What's going on, Paladin? You shower, right? You use deodorant, Paladin, right? I hope so. Yeah, we're one of the few wrestling fans around here. I think my whole wrestling base, the Hugenverse, they all like to shower and put deodorant on and things like that. That's good. Yes, Sasha Rain says, but I got an Uber to get me. That's a smart thing to do, but also, I don't want to leave an event, all these people going out there, and then I'm going to like call an Uber. I'm at least where I'm at, Boston, Providence, like these cities, and then I'm in a sea of people again outside, and I have to find like a car I don't know or anything. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Where's the flying cars at? That's what I want to know. Get liking and subscribing, everybody. Start sharing this everywhere. We're not getting the numbers up fast enough. Fucking let's go. Stop making me swear. That kills my whatever they call the artificial intelligence that watches this show and listens to every word I say and then tries to sell me my own shit back to me. Have you seen that, Danny? That's what they're doing to me.
What do you mean? Sorry.
So artificial intelligence is analyzing my show of me analyzing pro wrestling and things, and then they cut it into little strips here and there, and then they try to sell it back to me like, hey, wouldn't this be cool to post on social media for all your people?
I see, right.
And I'm like, no, it isn't cool. It'd be cool if it was free.
Yeah.
You know? If I paid for everything to just talk about silly pro wrestling all the time, I'd be on the streets. Like, what does everybody want from me? I can't... I don't know. That's why I'm trying to sell things. I'm trying to recoup some of the money just to like be sitting here and talk wrestling every week with everyone and try to get something off the ground. I'm no Pat McAfee apparently or whatever, but you can go buy a t-shirt. Oh, look at this. Look at this, sleaze. I have a QR code too, Linktree. That's everything. That way I don't have to like, repeat myself. So take a picture of that, folks. In this at the same time, me in the corner giving the middle finger. I don't know why, because I'm mature. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. And listen, again, this is the smartest, greatest audience of all time. And I'm not even pandering, Danny. They are the best. The way that they retweet and share the show to everybody, it's the greatest. They know, they understand, they get what we're doing over here. When we're talking about wrestling and things, we do it like nobody else. Nobody else does it like this. Yep. Do they have clips like this? Yeah, murder scene. That's what that is. Jason Voorhees in AEW. You know who I'm talking about if you've been watching. Yep. So, all right. First things first. Hit all them links, and then we're going to look at some tweets. A lot of this may be a little Twitter heavy. I don't know, but maybe let's get into it. So Javon Evans has been beefing with Ricochet this week. He pulled down all his tweets after he posted them because he was going on a little bit of a tangent here. And the bald guy over in AEW, I think initially a fan sent him something about Javon Evans killing it, what have you, out here in pro wrestling, and he said he'd squash him. King Ricochet said, I will squash Javon Evans. And let's read this in Twitter form, which is the best way to read it because I feel like I'm dyslexic. So let's start in the middle, right? Brother, I was learning from Shawn Michaels when you was like 12. They went on to become multiple-time champion. Let me know when you win one, little boy. And then Javon, of course, responds, and you learned from HBK when I was 12. Oh, wait, am I doing this right? Yes, this is the quote. And became multiple-time champion. Wait, why am I reading it twice? Oh, holy shit. Let's just get to the point. He called Tony Khan a crackhead.
Oh.
Because I don't like repeating myself. And that's what started to happen. But yeah, so Tony Khan is a crackhead, and Ricochet wrestles for him in front of
2,000 people. Sorry, yeah, I didn't want you to skip over that bit because I just caught that.
I just assume everybody else saw this already. But all right, let me read it for you properly. Javon Evans said, you learned from HBK when I was 12 and became a multiple-time champion. Now you're wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade. Am I right? The young OG. I love the hashtags. And then he wrote, sounds like Mr. Khan isn't giving you enough attention. So you had to come for successful ass youngin. 100. You're giving me the most views on my post, and I'm finally hoping you get the most attention you've ever had in your career. All love. And then, yeah, of course, Javon took all his tweets down, and it seemed to me that
That's
Ricochet,
unfortunate.
yeah, Ricochet kept going. He was like going at him, talking with other people online. So I don't know. The kids are all seem to be split. There's the Javon Evans destroyed Ricochet crowd, which it seems to me he did. The whole crackhead statement, you know, that does it for the kids anyway.
Yeah.
I see this for what this is. This isn't a win or a loss. This is just attention, which is good for both of them.
Yeah.
Wrestling. So who won, Danny? Who won the Twitter online beefing battle? I mean, that was the sweet spot. There's more, but you know, I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah, I've never been convinced of anything really. Well, to be fair to Ricochet, yeah, he's really good at doing the flips. But then when you put him in another promotion where everybody else is like really good at doing the flips, but not so much at the storytelling or the emoting or whatever, yeah, being able to do all of the flips isn't really as valuable. Yeah, he's not that good a smack talker either.
Yeah. It just feels like he's trying too hard. That's all.
Yeah. He had a good little spot. He had a really good little spot in WWE. I think he just got greedy, to be honest. It wasn't the main event. It wasn't quite Rey Mysterio's spot, but if Rey Mysterio wasn't working at the time, or he retired like he's close to doing now, that would have sort of like been a good little spot for him to have taken, and the kids would have liked him. Just done the simple matches with, well, not simple like with what he does, because I couldn't do any of those backflips and stuff. But you know what I'm saying? He got greedy, and then when his missus wanted to do more, and she's like, oh, I want to be more than just a ring announcer, because she didn't get into wrestling really because she liked wrestling. That was a lot of bullshit. She got into like music, reality TV shows and stuff before, and this was just the latest way of getting onto camera and getting into whatever she wanted to really do.
Where's his girlfriend? Oh, there he is. There she is. Kissing on her all the time, this Ricochet. I just remember watching a Botchamania like a month ago or so, and they were kind of goofing on her there, or maybe it was a meme somewhere else. But it was her. She was singing. She was doing an act, and it was outside of a ring, like an indie thing. I don't know if it was Mania or something, but and people are like, wow, she left WWE to go and do this. And this is what brings me to this other story that we have to talk about. But you know, it's fans are very, very judgmental. I get that. That's kind of what my show is about. It's just, well, it's more about goofing around than it is judging anything. And if anything, I believe my criticisms, and anybody that comes on here, our criticisms are pretty tame and constructive compared to most out here, which is basically fuck Triple H. Like that's the gist of it. But you know, Cora Jade, Blair Davenport, you know, they've been released recently, and now they're gonna do the OnlyFans things, and this is all I've been hearing all week. People are very upset about this, especially Cora Jade, because she had said something about now she's getting released, and she felt like she was body shamed or something by the business. Maybe that's why she got the BFTs, because they're like, you look like a little girl. And that's not body shaming. I don't believe in body shaming. First of all, there's what's best for business, and then there isn't. That's it. And I think they were looking at her with her girl arms and girl legs and things, and her girl chest at the time. And they said, you know, nobody's going to be able to take you seriously. Let's give her a skateboard at first. She's a little kid. And then she outgrew all that. And then she got the big old BFTs, and now they let her go, and she probably feels some kind of way about it. But, you know, I'm cutting them a little bit of slack. Let them be mad. They're young, you know, right? Right, Danny? Or am I wrong?
Well, I don't know a massive amount about this particular incident, but it is crap if they have pressured her into like altering a body in that way, and then like, oh yeah, thanks for getting a load of stuff shoved into your chest, but now we're going to release you. She could have said, yeah, she could have said no. She could have said no. To be fair, I mean, what was the worst that was going to happen? She was going to get released. which at least then she would have stood under principles. And you could go, yeah, but principles, what are they going to get you in the wrestling business? They might get a job with AEW, but I don't know. It's people online are getting quite angry just because these lasses are like their favourites or this week's favourite of theirs. So there is that element, but I do completely understand if you've altered your body, you would be pretty annoyed.
Yep. What about them getting OnlyFans? I mean, these people are brutal out here. They're like, who would want? I'm reading the comments and some of these things. Blair and Davenport's doing it as well, I guess. And it's just like, well, who would buy that? Who cares? And she's this and she's that and blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm trying to put myself in a place of a 20-year-old female wrestler, right? That just got cut by the biggest company. And you're going, okay, how do I maintain the lifestyle I've been living? Not like they've been killing it or anything necessarily financially, whatever. But, they don't want to be destitute. They don't want to be going back to the hot dog and a beer for throwing themselves off a building again in the Indies. So if there are stupid marks out there and simps that will buy this material, to me, it's kind of like, well, I don't care. It almost seems like a no-brainer. Because again, we're not talking about normal people that are going to jobs. They're like independent contractors that are. Wrestling's it's a carny deal. Like OnlyFans is to me a carny type thing. I'm not so offended by it like everybody else, where they're so invested in these characters that they see on TV. Because I really don't care about these people personally in their personal lives. It doesn't really matter to me unless they're breaking the law, doing something that's salacious that I can talk about or whatever. But as far as you getting an OnlyFans, to me, like, how about all these other mediocre broads stop having OnlyFans, right? Why do we have to go, like, they're at least a little bit hot. They clearly are working out on TV in front of everybody. Like, I don't see how it's such a big deal.
I get what you're saying, and people should be, if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do, as long as they're not being forced to do it, as long as they're not breaking any laws, like you say. But once you start monetizing that element of yourself and you just perform for that reward, have you seen any of the latest videos of Britney Spears? That's what could potentially be you down the line, when you just see the desperation in her eyes, just dancing in front of a camera in her underpants, just like, please, somebody validate me, please validate me. Look how dead I am inside. And even South Park took pity on Britney Spears years ago, just saying to leave her the fuck alone. And it's just still sad to see. And that's what, whenever, you say I sound like somebody nutcase bloody preacher now, but once you start selling yourself in that sort of a way, there is the chance that that's where you're going to end up. And you don't want that. That's not good for your head or any part of you.
Yeah. But
you're right. You are right that there are enough marks and enough people in the world will go, oh, that particular thing is my cup of tea and I will pay for that. Even if it's not a load of people, but just enough to make ends meet. But yeah, sorry, come.
It would be like, maybe, I'm just guessing, say it's several $100 a month. Why turn it down for taking pictures of yourself that you probably already have? You know what I mean? Like, you probably already are sitting on them. You're like, well, all right, well, I'm half naked out here wrestling most of the time anyway. I mean, I guess there's levels to this, I guess, folks. Mm-hmm. Are we spreading cheeks or things? That's that's like getting into that. That I'm not saying necessarily that I think that's what they're doing. I'm assuming it's going to be on the tamer side, since they are, it's not going to be like some hardcore business going down. But again, I just don't understand the audience for this. These guys out here, the younger guys, especially, that are the older guys too, like even more so, like it's free, right? There's so much free content out there if you want it. Like, why would you pay for it? You really need that specific person? That's weird. That's kind of creepy. And you know what? To your point, that's probably a bad idea. Would be number one as a female to me, is I might be getting a creep worldwide because there's a lot of people on Earth, and one of them might be nuts. So.
Yeah. And then they turn up at the bar that you go to on a regular basis, follow you into the toilets, and hey, you owe me because I pay for this and I pay for that, and yeah. Even if you're not getting your kit off and getting naked, even if it's just some cute little like Japanese Idol sort of style scenarios where you're just like in a fan club and you get letters written to you, it's a sticky web once you start getting people obsessed with you over the internet and, like I say, turning up in real life and being like, you owe me, hello, and you can't shake them.
Like the DDS there in AEW, they was actually showing up to her dental office, Britt Baker.
Right.
We talked about that a few months ago. Like random fans are just showing up. She's like, you got to stop showing up in my work. Imagine that. These people are nuts. There's so many weird people. They're showing up at people's houses.
Airports. It's predictable. If you know what the wrestling schedule is, you know, well, so-and-so's probably going to be at this airport, so we'll just wait for wrestlers to turn up.
Wow. The hotels. These people, you guys are sick. Okay? Listen, pro wrestlers do not want to deal with adults. All right? They don't want to deal with you. They think you're a weirdo for even watching what they do or being into what they. I get it. You know, I go to cons and I'm rubbing shoulders quite literally with pro wrestlers all the time. I don't give a fuck. Because you know why? Like, they don't give a fuck about me. So if you know this, then you instantly it makes it easier to go, why am I going to mark out for people that they wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire? All right? All your favorites hate you. You get it? Do you get it yet? Unless you're a younger under 14. Once you start getting to be an older teenager, they're kind of like, really, kid? You know, at least back in my day. And then, but if you're a child, this is for the children. They only want to interact with the children, all right? In a no Diddy way, I'm assuming, just because, you know, it's a whole larger than life deal. You're building memories with that, blah, blah, blah. The problem is they've done that with all of us when we were kids, and now we're all big kids, and we all think that like we can
we're pals.
to an extent. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not asking for autographs or anything or going to airports or shit like that. Like, that's a whole nother level. But okay, I even think it's weird to me that if a wrestler walks by me in the middle of a show, I got to pat his shoulder or something. But you know what? For some reason I do. Like, it just clicks into my head, and I'm like, you know, maybe a couple beers deep, and I'm like, hey, good job. Right? You know, but I feel that's more normal than showing up to get pictures and autographs and leave these people alone. There's a story about this week too, Danny. CM Punk said, you got to stop touching strangers. And what he means, again, I feel weird. I feel it's more normal to do what I do at a show. You know, a guy walks by, yeah, you know, good job. You just, you know, fake beat that guy up or whatever. But to go to an airport or seeing people outside of an arena, all right, outside of where the show's going. Again, I only care about the characters. Do I give a shit about Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, whatever it is outside? Will I tap his shoulder inside and play along in the thing? Yes. But I'm not going out of my way to stop people. I've sent people to other wrestlers, like the Road Dogg shows up. It's funny how like the younger crowd too, when you go to some of these shows, they don't know any of the older people. Like, so I remember this crowd of kids, you know, in their early 20s, didn't know who the Road Dogg was or didn't recognize him at least. And I was like, hey, you know, that's the Road Dogg over there, guys. And they were like, oh, and they all ran over. And I'm like, I'm not running over to the Road Dogg. I actually know who he is, and I'm not going to deal with this. So I get it. I just want everybody else out there to get it too. They don't like us. Okay? Stop it. It's touching. That's why Asuka that's why she freaked out for a few months. Maybe that's why she hasn't been back. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't remember, like, looking back at the Japanese matches and seeing, like, the crowds reacting the same sort of way because they applauded differently. It's a lot similar to an American crowd now with a lot of what ends up getting shown, but yeah, they're maybe not as touchy-feely over there, and just the culture had a bit of a shock to a system.
I mean,
and it's just
airport.
Yeah, you don't need that. You don't. No, you don't. No, you don't need that because you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if you're just getting. Oh, look at this guy. He's wanting to like waste 5 minutes waiting for his airplane, and he's just seen a famous person he knows. He's saying hello, and that's that. Or you don't know if it's like, oh my god, he's sat 3 seats behind me now, and he's been following me for 5 hours.
And then
You don't know.
the show a few months ago, we played a clip of it where this girl was basically molesting Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, trying to kiss on him and pull him into the crowd and everything, and they're like fighting her off. It's like, God, this is not just a man deal. This goes for everybody. Like I said, if you're in high school and above, it's done. You know what I mean? As far as talking to pro wrestlers out here, it's over with. All right. It's like, imagine wanting to go meet Santa Claus forever. Go get Santa Claus autograph everywhere. Like, stop it. I get that most of them are selling it online and stuff too. But even those, an 8x10 of a wrestling, I got 1 million of them back here. They're fucking cheap as fuck. Come on, guys. Stop it. Again, just stop it.
Did you say it was CM Punk that said this?
CM Punk was definitely said, "Don't touch strangers."
Yes. Yeah, it's just I've just remembered halfway through it, was talking about it, that he was the one that was in the crowd that got punched by someone in the back of the head. He turned around and he hit the wrong person, didn't he? Because it did look, the guy he hit, it looked like that was who hit him, but it was somebody else. But yeah, he just started swinging. That's funny that he said that.
Yeah, how about this video too? We got another video to bring up. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I haven't seen this in a long time. There we go. Click a couple more buttons, almost there. And there it is. Did you guys see this? This is the person that actually threw the bottle. Right here, if you can see my cursor. There he goes. He just threw it at him. I thought that this was a work. But he apparently gets booted here. So they're coming for him. And he is being escorted out pretty slowly. Didn't even hit Cena, dropped at his feet. Pretty good throw. He is the last. Yep, we know who he is. So, yep, that happened. And I don't know, they kicked him out, but then again, it still could be a work, and they just got an employee out of there that was in a regular t-shirt or something. It was one empty Michelob bottle. At least have it half full if you're going to do it. You know, do it right if you're going to do it.
Yeah, if it was if it had anything in it, or even if, especially if it was full and he threw it at somebody, then honestly, I'm like, yeah, get the fucker out of there. That's not how you behave in public. I'm sorry. People started doing that at music gigs and festivals. I remember when that started becoming like a normal thing, and it's just like, why? Fuck off. It's just, no, it's out of line. But yeah, that looks to me like it's a bit arranged, just to make it look like a prick.
Product placement of Michelob Ultra, the wateriest fucking piss beer that you could ever drink.
Right.
It's like the worst. It's like they sell it by going, yeah, it has like no beer in it. It's like, oh, cool. You know? It's what? So, yeah. I mean, people like, again, though, I don't know. I think wrestling needs more of this. Maybe, like I said, throw a bottle in half full, let it hit John Cena's hair, and then he strokes it back like Razor Ramon or something, like the good old days. That was the best. The big cups of beer, they'd come flying in the WCW, and one like just burst all over his head, and he just slicks his hair back. It doesn't bother him at all. Oh, the good old days, yes. Yep, so John Cena recognized, he saw that guy out there, and
John Cena recognized.
Wasn't happy with him. He's probably going to eat his babies later. Right, John, where are you? Yep, there he is. So what are you saying over here, Chris? Christopher Killer 303, Lyra Dominic, Randy Gunther, Damien, my predictions, Doc. That's right. This is kind of a prediction show. I do lay in some predictions here and there. The problem is I'm right about so much. I don't want to just give it away to everybody. So like and subscribe and share and retweet this. That's your job out there, Christopher. Don't forget, if I don't see Christopher Killer 303 retweeting this and sharing this on YouTube, coming for you. Yep. That's in a boxing ring, YouTube, TOS. Always in a boxing ring. So anyway, we got some more stories here. We got a slap fight. You know, not Joe Rogan. Dana White, the other bald guy. He's got a thing called slap fight now, which is the stupidest idea ever. I will put it over a little bit because it is kind of entertaining seeing people put like baby powder on their hands and just slap the shit out of each other. I don't know if we can play. We should be able to play these. It's all over the internet. It's all over the YouTubes. Hold on. Let me do another screen change here. Gonna take a second, folks. I know how you guys don't like to wait for anything, but you're gonna fucking wait. Okay? Hold your horses. Power slap. Here it is. We got a whole bunch of them. We're just going through the socials. Let's watch this girl get her Mike Tyson slap. Loves it.
Best shot of the match, Paige. It was.
Yeah, she's thinking, or maybe she's like, "You hit me right here in the temple," and it just welted up like crazy. I love that they put the Mike Tyson tattoo right over it. So yeah, this is what indie wrestlers are going to be doing, guys. This is they're planning for it. Let's get a male one.
None of the above. Can I borrow some money?
Oh no, we can't have music, right? There we go. So I mean, am I gonna shit on this? Of course. Am I gonna watch it? Also, of course. I mean, look at this. So, have you ever seen Power Slap before, Danny?
Yeah, I've seen some of these clips.
Yep.
I've not I didn't watch a full episode or anything, but when it first came out, I remember I think it was Jim Cornette talking about it. So I had a watch. It's silly, yeah. There is obviously a form of athleticism, just being able to take the shot in the face like that, or not when some people get knocked out. But yeah, it's reaching. In my opinion, it's reaching a bit. It's not UFC.
You can't defend yourself.
No.
How are you supposed to defend yourself against any of this? Or it's just straight up head trauma. So when I heard that they were getting wrestlers involved with this, I felt bad, because here's how in my mind just wrestling goes off the top of my head. And I'm talking about just looking at the hierarchy of it. WWE, AEW, TNA. I mean, we can argue what's bigger and better between those two, whatever. But they're behind WWE. New Japan, AAA, MLW, and we start getting into that realm of like MLW, independence, and NWA, blah, blah, blah. And then at the very, very bottom of all this, we got guys that are struggling to get into those spots, I believe. And then they end up in Power Slap. And Power Slap is like the Hades of pro wrestling, or what they're going to turn it into, because I mean, come on. That's just it's an easy paycheck again, like the OnlyFans, but at least you're not getting slapped to shit in OnlyFans. So
yeah, it does look like a hyper-focused version of the spot they do a lot in AW, where they're just open hand slapping, palm healing the shit out of each other's faces for a bit, and then it's like you wouldn't still be standing if you were hitting those as hard as you're trying to portray that they're hitting. But
I had
if that's what they want to do, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. There's a kind of a coincidence in the Hugenverse here, because many of you know I talk about Zicky Dice sometimes. He came on in the past. Great friend of the show. He's wrestled NWA. What was the one in California? There's a big group. He trained under Seth Rollins at his place. The whole thing. He was in a big punk band before getting into wrestling. And earlier this week, I saw he tweeted something. I had retweeted. I should have just clipped it, but something to the effect, a couple tweets back to back about how basically he's got burnt by the wrestling business. He feels that promises were made by somebody or something. This is just the gist of it. This isn't the exact quote, but like I got the vibe that he's like, wow, the pro wrestling business really did a number on me. And then a couple days later, he's like, I'm all in on this power slap. And I was like, oh no, what happened? Like, I'm like, did he fell down the chain here, the ranks, if you will, into power slap, I think, which is a payday. It seems like you will get paid for this, but at what cost? So I don't know.
Everybody's got a price. Everybody's got a price.
And who else is in this? Because they didn't even mention him in the story, too, that I was reading about Power Slap as one of the independent wrestlers. He's just lumped in with all the rest. I actually think he's pretty good. But who else is in this? Maybe you've heard of Mecha Wolf? No? Yes, no? No.
No.
No yeet. No.
sorry.
Oh, Marty the Moth from Lucha Underground. He was a champion in Lucha Underground. Also a friend of the Dr. Huge Show, has been on before.
The name rings a bell, but
Yep.
I'm not familiar.
So Marty, my two boys, Marty and Zicky, are going to be power slapping. And if they power slap each other, who am I going to choose? This is too much for me, folks. It's causing me to drink right now.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm going to have to really think about this one because I'll be watching. Yep. I watched them when they had slap fight is funny. Are you talking about Sissy Boy slap fight with Kenny Omega? Because that's not what I'm talking about. I'll never watch that. Well, I did one time for research, right? I didn't find it erotic at all. Imagine being in a weird movie called Sissy Boy Slap Fight with a bunch of guys in towels and stuff. Could you imagine? And then imagine this, folks, that you end up being like the AEW champion and like the coolest wrestler ever because you're into like video games and bisexual, lesbian stuff. I don't know. Is that what's cool these days? Because I can do that. I could scissor, bro. Look at you. See the shirt I'm wearing? I wear this out on the town. I'll scissor any lesbian out there. Got it, Paladin? This isn't a joke. I'm not joking around. Nah, that's a fact. Fact of life. Yep. What are we talking about now? Oh, okay. We're not talking about Power Slap anymore. Even though it did remind me the other day, these stories. Did you ever see the movie How High, Danny?
Yes, I did see that. Yeah.
Man in Red Man. Classic. It's a great one. I got it right back here as well.
Remember, I've got it on DVD somewhere. It starts off really good. It veers off a bit at the end, and it's like, meh. The third act isn't quite as strong. I don't think it got a bit too silly, but no, it's a funny premise.
Remember the two pimps that were the one that would always put the baby powder in his hand and slap people? That's Power Slap. That's where they got the ideas from pimps, I think. Since pimping's been pimping.
It does have somewhat of a Jackass element to it. Just right, you stand there and let me hit you as hard as I can, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just stick our chin out and take it. So it does have a bit of a silly sort of like Jackass.
And it's turned into memes. Watch this be the number one sport in like 15, 20 years. And I'm not even joking because the IQ's dropping like crazy around Earth. All of Earth, everybody's getting dumber. All these little machines that we're keeping with us everywhere, these things are making everybody really, really stupid. So Power Slap is probably going to be like NBA, NFL, Major League Soccer, all this, like all over the world. It'll surpass all of them because people will just go as soon as somebody gets they'll love it. Yep. It's great. Good job. And you know what? Dana White, he sees the future. I'm predicting it now. Power Slap takes over the world within, say, 10 years. 10 years, yep. I can't even
Well,
believe it's legal.
Well, I was going to say it's better than they've been out on the street doing that to just random strangers. So if they can organise and then get together and just make a couple of quid out of it, then more power to them.
It's time for Slap Jesus to come back. Come back from the clouds and just start slapping everybody half to death.
Demanding we all get in line. Just everyone line up on the road and just flies past.
There was a guy called Slap Jesus in the show. Do you guys remember him? He was the best. He looked like a hippie. That's why they called him that. But yep, that was his nickname. And that's why I was backing him the whole show until he got his bell rung too many times and he had to leave. That's the other thing. It's like if you disqualify and you just like totally thump somebody in the head and it's not even a slap, you just kind of club them and they get knocked out of the competition because they're like brain dead, they move you on. So I would say the best thing to do is if you're in power slap, just fucking club everybody. Get disqualified as many times as you want, as many times as they allow. Because they'll just move you on because they're like, well, we can't move this guy on. Got brain damage, so we'll move you on. The guy that gave him brain damage to give somebody else. See what I'm saying? It's great.
Yeah, I feel my IQ dropping just talking about it.
Telling you, it's going to be huge.
Oh no, I think you're right. I think it will be.
So bad.
I don't agree.
Yeah,
I understand it. I don't approve of it, but I completely, I agree with you, and I understand it. I understand where you're going with it.
Yeah, but my logic doesn't seem correct at first, but if we really talk it out, then it's like, well, yeah. I mean, what are we gonna do? We're watching the NFL and the NBA and like the big sports over here get worse and worse and worse and less manly. And then you got power slap coming around and all the dummies coming around.
I don't know. Didn't someone in ice hockey just kill someone with a kick to the throat?
Yeah. Maybe a power kick someday. Maybe we'll start power kick where we just Randy Orton style punt them in the face. In a boxing ring, of course. TOS.
Always.
You can just, like I say, you can give somebody brain damage, and as long as you're in some sort of ring, elevated stage, then it's all right. But all right, here comes a not so fun story. Maybe we'll buzz through this, but it is in the wrestling world. This guy here, Duke the Dumpster, is it Drosy or Drosy? Drosy. So allegedly, because nothing's factual on this show, allegedly he was caught using cryptocurrencies to buy CP. He's a PDF, get it? You understand in my slang? He's a chomo, supposedly. So that's the story. And when I first saw it, I didn't believe it. Because, any old site that just posts something online, you got to, look into it first. I looked into it, and then apparently there was like several other stories on this. I'm like, this must be true. But it's still alleged. He's got to face his day in court and all this stuff. Or maybe it's already happened by now. But, yeah, that's just not good news. And, I hear this stuff every once in a while. There was a couple months ago, there was a old Red Sox player, a pitcher, that was caught out in a cabin in the woods somewhere. He was caught in Tennessee, like that type of area in the middle of the country. Again, with all this type of material, which, I'm all for catching all of them, right? But this feels like a lower rung guy that's a purchaser of material instead of the people making the material and blackmailing other celebrities and politicians and what have you with materials and things. So yeah, this is a story and this is something, but again, this always makes me think, well, what about that other shit that they keep saying they're going to tell us about, but then they never tell us about? You know what I'm talking about, Danny, right?
The not so magical island.
Yeah, we got to be careful with this, even because they don't want it to be released for some reason. Everybody knows what we're talking about. But then again, I'm not going to put my get my channel in trouble because I'm, saying names and speaking words because it's already happened, so I'm being very careful, but we all know what we're talking about. But yeah, in the meantime, they're capturing guys like this in the bunches. Great, good. But they think that we're going to stop thinking and talking about that other thing, which is more at the top of that pyramid when we're talking about guys like this that are at the bottom.
Because this magic that way, this mythical creature over there who used to be a pretend dustbin man or garbage man, didn't really convince people to do anything with their lives like a lot of celebrities or politicians will have done. So he hasn't really had much of an effect. So to find out he's potentially, allegedly, not a very decent character isn't really going to bother so many people's real lives. But if you found out, say, a politician, celebrity, whatever, someone that actually did have some sway in society was filthy, you'd be like, oh dear, I did this with my life, or I believed in this thing because that person told me. And people don't want that. Even though that's something where it's like, well, I can like somebody in a film, that doesn't mean, I have to go along with what they do in the real life, in the real world. You can still do that, but those sorts of brains can't detach the two. And it's just, oh no, that can't come out. And then also they're defending them, and there's a lot of reasons. But yeah, I think it's already disappeared. I think it's gone. I think it's been destroyed. Or it's just got black line through every single bit of it, and it's like we can't read any of it.
Yep. And that will be the final play. If people keep pushing, then they're just going to go, well, it's already gone. It's already burnt up and deleted and everything. And it wasn't us, of course. Somebody else did it before we even got here. Sure. Got it. I got it loud and clear, guys. We get what you're doing. Cool. To me, it's just mind blowing what this country allows. It's mind blowing to me what they've allowed, what they continue to allow. It's
Hollywood's. I know it's not just Hollywood, but Hollywood has just been given loads of leeway for a long time because not to play Britain versus America, but you're a very young country and you've not got as much length history as other countries. So when you did have something in that time that was good and it was making a lot of money, it's like, oh yeah, just protect it at all costs. And that's kind of gone a bit far now when you see, like I said, look at Britney Spears, look what she's doing with herself now after getting that sort of industry all over her. And Macaulay Culkin looks a lot older than he was, and a lot of child actors. And
Hollywood was built to be creepy. Like if anybody knows about the just where it is, Hollywood, the name of it comes literally from witchcraft.
Bobby Driscoll. That was a sad story. Was Bobby Driscoll. Disney's first two signings were children. The first two people that Disney got to sign a contract were children, like little children. So it's like, cool. Their parents want the kids to get famous. They'll just let us do whatever and just make the children work however many hours a week, a day. And yeah, it's not all, yay, family friendly, as people have long since believed.
Yeah, that Mickey Mouse on the South Park, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Because that's just to me, that's what it is. It's pretty, if you know it's like that,
The purity rings, stay on.
The purity rings, that's right.
He beats the shit out of the Jonas Brothers. Yeah. He just knocks the crap out of them all.
Hollywood's so creepy. And so, even the WWE to a certain extent.
Oh yeah.
I've done the CSWNNs back in the day. Let's do a quick little exercise with that. These are old notes. One night I'm sitting here, I'm writing some things down, and I'm like, you know what? I started writing names down. Where is it? It's got to be around here somewhere, but I could probably just do it out of my head. I don't even need the notes. Like how Dolph Ziggler, right? I remember one night McMahon came out and he called him Ziegler. Like very clearly, multiple times. And I was like, why is Vince McMahon calling him Dolph Ziegler? He doesn't know the names of his own characters. So I looked up what a Ziegler was. It's like a brick mason in German, right? So like a builder. So I'm, Freemasonry. If you're hip to any of this, like that's like kind of like the tip of the iceberg type stuff for everybody. But I'm like, that's kind of odd that they would name him that. Right. And then that's just one of a million different things. I wrote a list down. I mean, we can do this with a lot of names even now, Lyra Valkyria and sure. So they have like all these mythical attachments to usually Greek gods and goddesses and stuff like this. But there's something to it. I'm telling you, there's something to it. They use all the symbolism, the snake eating its tail with Sheamus and stuff.
Yeah.
The Ouroboros, it's pretty heavy. When you start really looking, it's everywhere when it comes to the WWE. So it's like, to me, the signs and symbols are just telling you, it's like throwing up gang signs, right? Yeah. It's just showing who your allegiance to the people that actually can see it. And total creep fest, if you ask me. And it's not like it necessarily was always like that, but I believe a lot of these organizations and things in the world have been taken over just through time. If they have any influence or any power, they've been taken over. So it's that evil Vince McMahon again, folks, right?
No, it definitely has a lot of weight, what you're saying. But on the other hand, with that first example, Vince McMahon's a weird guy. He might just have really been tickled one day when either he or somebody else mispronounced Ziggler's name, and he just got it into his head that it's like, I'm going to embarrass him on television because I think it's the funniest thing ever that someone could pronounce your name Ziggler.
But that wasn't his real name. Ziggler is his working name, and Ziggler is him messing up a working name.
Right.
I could see if he was goofing on his real name or something, and it was like some kind of rib. It wasn't. He just messed up his character's name when he's the boss.
Yeah, because it was Vince. If he just he could just start waffling shit on his show. It just happened to be
he was using a name that it's about. Let's find the actual term. Let me just put it in right now. Ziggler name define. Origin meaning brickmaker. I mean, come on. That to me, that's like obvious. Like that's Freemason talk.
Yeah,
that's what a Freemason is. It's like a brick mason. So, yep, telling you, Paladin, I'm not crazy. I tell you, and I know a lot of things could be coincidences, but there's just too many in certain areas with certain things where it's just like, I wish I could find that.
No, they put like the Illuminati images and stuff like that in the Raw logo years ago. I remember seeing that, and with the Ascension, I think it was had some.
Oh yeah, they were totally. Yep.
Yeah. So even if it's just like, oh, look at this cool edgy branding or design or whatever we found, like an alternative to like tribal tattoos or whatever, they are still using it. I'm not disputing that at all. But it's just to what degree everybody involved is involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll never
I'm just
know.
going to throw some out because I wrote them down. Why not? And if anything, this will be educational for people. Some of these names. So Rhea is a Greek goddess, mom of Olympian gods. Also means flowing. So like flowing of time and generations. And the Ripley means to strip, or like a strip of clearing in the woods, to reap or strip, to like make a clearing. So I'm thinking to myself, a Greek goddess of the flow of time and generations, and then you're going to strip and clear it in the middle, or not in the middle necessarily, but you're going to make a strip and clearing for it somehow. Just, I don't know, clearing the flow. I don't know, maybe I'm looking into it too much, but hey, this is what it means. Lyra is harp. It's bright star, also like Vega, Zelina Vega. Heavenly zenith, zealous. The moon is Vega. She's all that. And you know about her and her tattoos, and Aleister Black, her husband, and what he's into, which is, you can't tell me he's not into the occult and signs and symbols and all this stuff. He knows what a lot of this stuff means, but of course I'm sure he has a lot of different thoughts on what it is, because to everybody it's all just mumbo jumbo, right? And just symbols which contain a lot of meaning and done different ways and all this. I don't want to bore anybody, so let me just get back into the actual names. Valkyria's chooser of the slain, which is Norse, not Irish. They try to make it seem like she's like super Irish and everything's Irish about her, but that's Greek myth first name and a Norse last name. And then you got Seamus, which actually is like Hebrew and Irish, and it means supplanter, takes the place of someone else, usually on purpose. And
yeah, they sort of like Vince tried to like position him to be like the big star, maybe not take over from Cena, but it was that sort of time where he was rising as Cena had been like the hot shit for a while. So
this tells me that there is some sort of meaning behind a lot of this. I mean, because that's exactly what I was thinking of. Not necessarily Cena, but just he was pushed so fast, and I wasn't watching that era a lot, but I would turn it on. And I'm like, all of a sudden, it's like him and Dolph Ziggler and The Miz have championships, and I was kind of like blown away by it. But Bianca, how about this one? Bianca, like Bianca Belair, right? Means white. Bianca means white, and of course Bel Air means beautiful place, like the Prince of Bel Air and stuff. So I found that suspicious of a name for a black woman,
like Barry White, Jack Black,
but that's white.
Yeah. But the other way around, it amuses me. Jack Black is a white person, Barry White was a black guy. It's
Aleister Black. And then Roman Reigns is pretty obvious, right?
The Roman Empire, just as soon as they brought Roman Reigns out, it's like, oh, you're just gagging to do something with the Roman Empire, and then as soon as they got the chance, it was just, oh my god, it wouldn't let you stop.
Of course, the Roman Empire, which a lot of people don't think necessarily went away, kind of like the Soviet Union and stuff. Like these, they kind of stay around in pockets and still exist and secretively. Then we have Tiffany Stratton. Well, Tiffany I didn't even bother looking into, but Stratton is a town or dwelling on a Roman road. Like Roman Reigns road, maybe. And then Sol Ruca. This one was funny. Sol, of course, means the sun. She's a surfer and all this stuff. But then Ruka, in one definition of it, means a gang member. So she could be a gang member of a sun cult. And here's a last one for you. The Ringmaster, which is, of course, comes from like circuses, the Ringmaster there. And that, of course, has occultic roots. Freemasonry once again, like the Ringling Brothers and all this business. So there you go. You just learned something, everybody, at least about some of these names and your favorites. All your favorites. Where's my notes again now? Here's my real notes. We went back so far in time. Yep, so cool, huh? What else we got here? Oh, the Hulk Hogan stuff. So Hulk Hogan's got his freestyle wrestling with Eric Bischoff and their third man that nobody ever heard of ever in their life. And he went out there earlier this week and is doing all the shows and things. And he keeps talking about this Shelton Benjamin. Benjamin Shelton, rather. Benjamin Shelton is like Hulk Hogan holds him in high regard. He thinks he's the man. He's like, I used to wrestle the likes of Brock Lesnar after UFC and guys like Benjamin Shelton. And he did it on multiple shows, called him Benjamin Shelton. So Shelton Benjamin, of course, comes out and writes, keep my name out your mouth. I can't believe, basically coming off like, how dare you even talk about me? I remember you talked to the backstage that night. Remember, he talked to the other wrestlers and didn't even apologize or anything. He just kind of was like, hey, you know, people recorded me, stuff like that. So he never really got over, I would say, with the black talent. I mean, even the all New Day were disgusted with him after that. They all were. MVP even came out after Shelton Benjamin wrote this and was like, yep, essentially he's a scumbag. Then Becky Lynch did an interview, got asked about the Becky Hogan question. Why is everybody calling her Becky Hogan? And she's like, well, he's a scumbag, and how dare you people? And I don't know if she's playing a heel all the time. This just feels like Becky Lynch to me at all times. She's like, after everything I did for you people, you're going to call me Becky Hogan? And it's just like everything she did for us guys. So, you have a take on this? Do you think the Hulkster deserves his comeuppance again for trying to put people over, brother? That's what I get.
Did Shelton Benjamin call Hulk Hogan Hogan Hulk? That's my first question. Because if he didn't say, hey, Hogan Hulk, he missed a trick there. I like Shelton Benjamin. He's a great worker. He's really good. He's Shelton. But yeah, I missed this. It is funny though, because people are just getting digs in at Hogan, and I'm not even a huge Hogan fan. Even as a kid, I got bored very quickly. And then, yeah, he's obviously not the most fancy thing to watch, but like we were discussing earlier, they don't really care unless, you know, you're below a certain age where you just buy into
He's hulking up. He's getting
Hulk
pissed.
Hogan sort of style. Yeah. Yeah, well, you can get pissed all you want, mate, but you were still in Mr. Nanny, and once you've seen that, you could never go back, I'm afraid.
Listen, he did Suburban Commando, okay? Leave him alone. Fix my screen here. He did Suburban Commando, so everybody has to leave him alone.
But then he did Mr. Nanny.
That was after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost his stuff. He lost his fastball.
Yeah, to go back to your point, so yeah, I think people are jumping on the bandwagon of just like, hey, let's try and elevate myself in the name of Hulk Hogan's bad reputation. But maybe aren't actually offended, but it's just easy to say you're offended by things nowadays, especially if it lets you climb that ladder. So I'm not saying people don't have a reason to be offended by him, but where the quality action happens.
Are you watching?
There's a wrestling pay-per-view on tonight, but this is where it's at.
Yep,
as they once said.
Listen, you're not going to find the hard-hitting news and takes anywhere else. But yeah, Hogan, get well. Whatever's happened to you, and say your N-words and take your vitamins. And what's the other thing?
The lottery. Sorry, the raffle thing I mentioned last week. I thought about it during the week, where people pay to see Hulk Hogan's show. Mm-hmm. Hogan keeps the ticket stubs, and at the end, or halfway through, Hogan comes out and picks someone's ticket stub at random, and little old lady at the back, and then just starts calling her the N-word. Everyone in the crowd stands up and like, yay! They make a big thing about it.
Yes,
so that's
where we shed our blood, sweat, and tears.
That's right, Hulkster. This is where we do it, right here in the Dr. Huge Show. Now my camera's all fuzzy and it won't come back. It just refuses to come back. What about Little Hogan? If I stick Little Hogan comes in HD. But how about Dr. Huge back here? Oh, we almost made it. We did it. Thank you, Little Hogan.
Oh, yep. I know it tried to, be fine. It tried to blur then, but it didn't.
All right, what else do we have here? So, yep, we learned Hogan is just a really bad guy. Nobody likes him. Black men, white women, gay people, Native Americans hate him, I heard. He had that Native American joke he tried to pull on people. We don't like jokes, Hulk. It's the year 2025. Don't be making jokes, okay? So, I'll tell you who came back. This guy's a little jokester. Elias, but his name now is Elijah. Okay.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. He's back. He showed up on NXT this week, everyone. Shocked us all. And just made me think of a story. So I assume he's back. in WWE in some shape or form. Him and possibly Joe Hendry. Are they just going to keep having Joe Hendry show up as a champ? He's going to drop the strap over there, and he's going to show up for good on WWE for at least a while. That's my expert analyst assumption. But Elijah, in the meantime, that would be something great that they could do in the main roster or in NXT at least. They both write songs about each other. I'm sure they already did this in TNA. But, it reminded me of the story. Went to a Monday Night Raw a few years back, and there was this one guy in the crowd. This is when Elias was still around, not his brother, the real Elias. And this guy kept screaming, WWE stands for, and then the people in the crowd would walk with Elias, right? And then he would get a kick out of it, and you could tell he's starting to get lubed up, and he's going. So every about 5 minutes, WWE stands for, and the crowd would do it again. And then all of a sudden we see up in the front row areas, there's an even drunker guy, right? Looked like a Chad bro, frat guy type dude. So he's trying to steal this guy's little gimmick now from the stands. He's like, wow, he's getting over with the people. And so he goes, WWE stands for. And everybody just goes, they booed the shit out of him. And it was the funniest thing seeing it in real time. And then the original guy, he does it again. Everybody does it, right? Then the drunk guy in the front does it again. And more booze. And he's just like throwing his hands up like he didn't get it. He's like, why is everybody booing me and not this guy? Because it wasn't your idea and everybody knows it. That's why. So everybody that goes to all these shows, you don't want to get booed by the other people for your chance. Come up with your own chance. Super Dragon, maybe? That'd be a good one. So that's all I got to say about that. Guy made a bad move, and he did it twice. Probably even did it more than that, because then it became a game of him getting booed and the other guy getting the response he was looking for. So I love that story. I tell that to all my kids before I put them to bed every night. Like, remember the moral of the story. Don't be a douche like that guy in the front. Only the guy next to me. And me. Yep. So autographs. No more autographs at the airport, kids. No more touching. No more prom style hugging of your lady wrestlers that you like. These people, Danny, through the years, I've been seeing them all. I'm sure you saw those memes. Happened to Becky Lynch many times. The Man could have just turned around and she would have rearranged your whole face with her little fists. But she didn't. Well,
I saw the Sasha Banks ones a few years ago where people were like 6 foot away from her.
Yep. Naomi too. Yep.
Did she do that?
I believe she was at one of them. I think weren't they like tag champions at the time? I think they were. That was right before they left.
They left, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Sasha Banks in those pictures, man. I get it. It was the COVID thing, but it wasn't the COVID thing. Okay, we already knew that was a ruse and that the whole 6 foot thing was nonsense. And she was still running with it because, wrestling fans smell and they stink, and they're generally older people that they don't want to see or know of. So stop going to their show. I would say this, okay? It's not all their fault necessarily. It is if you're going out of your way to go to airports and bother strangers in real life. But even at the Comic-Cons, stop going to the shows. Stop buying their autographs. Stop dealing with them at all. Maybe they'll want you to come, some of you to come back. And then they'll be happy to see you for your 50, 60, 70, whatever $100 pictures and autographs. So try that. And maybe not go so hard. Do the opposite. Say, you know what? Only the kids can buy autographs and things at these shows. We don't want them anymore, okay?
Maybe this is why Sasha Banks has done the texting service.
She's got a texting service?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I saw that. I'm sure I saw that over the week. It's like one of the only little bits of the wrestling news I caught. You can sign up and it's like, maybe you'll get a text message from me. Or I'm
Oh
sure it was
my
something like
God.
that.
Yep. That's been around forever, dude. They're doing it in text message form now. That's amazing.
Please, if somebody watching knows if I'm right about this, I'm sure that's what I saw.
Well, I'm just gonna look it up right now.
Yeah,
Let's-
so maybe this, if people can get the thrills from getting a text message offer, maybe, fingers crossed, maybe they don't turn up at the airport or the gym. Maybe this is the approach. I mean, because I'm sure it's not just because she wants money from people she despises, and she wants them to keep a distance. I'm sure it's not that at all. I'm sure it's just for good reasons.
MercedesMonet.com. I'm on it right now. Let's be text buddies.
Yeah, I didn't imagine this. It didn't. Yeah.
And it says like, "Hi Mercedes, is Snoop Dogg really your cousin? When
Yeah,
did
that
you
was
talk to him last? Hi Mercedes, how are you doing today? Mercedes, were you really hurt in your match with Momo? Who's Momo? $99 a month? A month? Oh my God. If I got to put this on screen. Hold on. You guys got to see this. I'm not making this up. Hold on. Where videos? This is amazing. Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Not a problem. No problem.
All my attention right here. Here we go. Let's be text buddies. So there's some of the things I was just reading. But then, yeah, my super fans have always been my super friends. That's my line. Now, like friends, they can text me directly and privately. I'm so excited to finally be able to connect this way. Sign up and text me now. Mercedes. Now, okay. I remember back in the 80s, you could text like a heartthrob for like way cheaper than this. I'm amazed by this. I never cease to be amazed anymore. I'm blown away. And again, so I'm supposed to be mad at Cora Jade and Blair Davenport, right? But they're not at a company or anything right now at the moment. And I'm supposed to be okay with this when she's already making a fortune off of Tony Khan, right? Yeah. She can't milk the fans enough. Is that what I'm seeing? Like, Danny?
Yeah, sorry, I love how the Snoop Dogg question's the first thing there. It's just like, since she was in WWE, it was just every opportunity to sort of like slightly mention, like, I'm Snoop Dogg's cousin. It's just shameless. But yeah, if I'm not speechless. It's just an old topic now. Just like lasses have sold themselves, we'll say, since the beginning of time, and it's a shame that some have to resort to that. I don't think anybody should be prosecuted or made like a criminal for doing that, especially when sometimes, not all the time, not obviously in this place. She's not starving, isn't Monet? She's got loads of money from Tony Khan, but whoring yourself, lack of a better word, it's just behave.
Imagine paying $100, and how many text messages do you get for $100 in a month?
And how many text messages of a 400-pound Mark's penis can you send in that? How many do you get to send, or are you not allowed to send your pictures and your messages? Because it's inviting that trouble still. I think it's
for a price, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I am kind of blown away by this. I'm not blown away that there's an actual text thing. I'm thinking $10 a month for some auto messages.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Whatever, like, for kids or whatever. I want $10 to have Sasha Banks because they're all marks. But this tells me like this is like grown people, because $100 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Still, kind of. Sadly enough, it's really not that much money anymore, but holy smokes.
Okay. It's low effort. It's low effort and it's transactional, and once you've spent your money, it's just like, well, I've spent my money now, so I deserve and I am entitled to get my thing. And my thing is to pretend that this lass is interested in me in some way.
I got to find out who's paying for this. That's a good question, Paladin. I'm going to go and do a little research this week and try to see. I'm going to ask some people who is paying for Sasha Banks, because she's not Mercedes Monet. Sasha Banks text message service. We got to know.
I think it might have been the AW Neckbeards account that I saw that reposted from initially, just to give credit where credit's due. If that's not who I saw it first, apologies. But he might have dug into how many people or who sort of like pays for that.
Great friend of the show. So yes, always uncovering the weirdness of AEW over there. So shout out to them. But yeah, I'm how about this? Go to this instead. See, it even says, thanks for watching. She didn't thank anybody for anything. She just basically like, you're my friends, but hey, do you make your friends stand 7 feet away from you, 10 feet away from you while you take pictures together? Nope. I wouldn't do that. I'm not afraid of no coof or smelly marks. I'm around them all the time. So Linktree here, all my stuff. There's multiple YouTube channels. There's the Rumbles on there, my music, the comic books. That's another thing. I don't know if you're interested, Danny, or how long you can stay, but at some point I'm going to open up a mystery box because I have 20 of them. I'm going to do a mystery box show and whatnot eventually. So you'll have to join and see. I know people like to see my comics sometimes. I'm one of those people. I go on there, and if I'm watching a show or video clips, I like to see comic books for some reason.
I have seen a couple of your comic shows, but it's been a while. I can't remember the last time I saw one of them, to be honest, but I do remember seeing some of them.
It's going to be a great deal. I don't know if I'm settling on $20 a box or $25. Probably 20. Just let's get this thing going. I got way too many anyway. I got to get these things out of here. So, yep, we're gonna be on the Sasha Banks case this week because that's some wild stuff. So, yep, Elijah's back. And Rollins. That's what's up next. The Rollins, CM Punk business. Sami Zayn's involved. Jey Uso, of course, is the champ. This is all Raw, which I guess this Backlash show is going to be mainly SmackDown. Not necessarily, but I think that's what's going on because because all this Rollins storyline and stuff, none of this is happening. No Jey Uso title. It's just John Cena and Randy Orton for that main title. And the IC title for the women is two of the top titles going. And Rollins, Punk, Sami, Jey. And there was a thing this week where Rollins ended up getting a championship match with Jey Uso, that's kind of cool to get a championship match during Raw. Made it a little more exciting. Then I believe Braun Breaker came out, of course, to help Seth Rollins, even though it just seemed like another bad match for Jey Uso. He's just not very good in the ring like that as a top guy. Like if we're really being critical of it, and this ain't like saying Jey Uso needs to leave the business and he's terrible and this and that. He's not top guy material.
No.
And you could see it again this week going up against Seth Rollins, a great dance partner, and it just looks sloppy. A lot of his stuff was just not good. And then Braun gets involved. Sami comes out, gets involved with him. Then CM Punk eventually comes out and saves the day. So now we're going to yeet for 20 minutes a Raw every week because of Sami Zayn. Because there was a chance. I knew there wasn't a big chance, but there was a chance that Seth Rollins could have taken this belt off of Jey Uso. Probably should have.
Yeah.
Oh, and then at the end of the night, after the cameras, everything goes off the air, the internet never sleeps, and Jey Uso's slapping everybody's hands at the barricade, and Logan Paul comes in and sleeps him, knocks him out right again from the crowd, which was kind of funny. That was like pretty much the only funny thing I've seen Logan Paul do this whole time. So it's 2 knockouts now. I don't know. People love it. The kids they like Logan Paul. They tell me, oh man, he works great, and He's a bad guy and we hate him and that's what we want. Okay. If that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'd honestly rather see him with the belt than opening match Jey Uso. I'm sorry, but I've criticised the Usos for some time. I praised them when they did good things. The Bloodline thing more recently, when that first started, just when they first turned heel and first got this repackage, it was a good call because they'd done the hacker dancing and the face painting for so long, and they needed a bit of a freshen up. But now it's not. They were like thuggish and just like quite serious with what they did when they first sort of like turned heel and did this day one-ish thing. But now it's just Jey Uso's just goofy. He's the Disney goofy character, but in WWE. That's it. That doesn't mean he's not over. It doesn't mean he's not popular. It doesn't mean he's not selling millions of T-shirts. But then, like you just said, once the bell rings, yeah, it's the same thing each time. It's nothing. It's not even interesting, and you can see all of his leg slaps a mile away, and he tries to be cute like The Rock, and it just comes off as being goofy.
Yeah. How about the promo? Paul came in and cut a promo with Jey Uso, and he was right. He was right about everything he said because he's like, listen, the tribal chief really turned his back on me after he lost the Universal Championship at WrestleMania or whenever. I think it was WrestleMania. I'm getting so crazy with all this, the timing of everything. Maybe was it last year? Yeah, last year at WrestleMania, yeah. He left him to just get thrown through tables and things by Solo. And this is the face he was making. He's very orange this week. Him and Braun Breaker, very, very orange. So great promo. Not a good promo, great promo. Everybody's saying Pat McAfee's cutting good promos and stuff. He had another one he did the other night. I didn't watch it. I'm not listening to this. But this one with this chunky guy here, the looks like a baby that was hit with gamma rays. That was a great one. So good job, Paul. Him being involved in all this just makes it so much better. Yeah. The thing I'm concerned about is Roman Reigns just kind of like done. Like he's already been like a part-timer, but even with the championship, at least he had the championship to be like, well, he's so big in the business. He kind of calls his shots and things. Now he's just like a regular wrestler. He hasn't been near a title really in a while. And he's still not showing up. I don't like that.
I think that WWE expected Roman Reigns to get the Rock treatment a lot sooner. It still hasn't happened, but they really wanted him to get into movies, and they thought he was going to get the ball rolling with that a lot sooner than now. And it's, like I say, it's still not happened unless people know that something's in the works, but he's still turning up.
They're crazy if they really thought that. The Rock is the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. He proved that many, many times. Entertained everybody. He's got people cheering for him, and he's cutting promos backstage. He's got people chanting and doing whatever he wants. Roman Reigns doesn't have that type of it factor.
No.
So him going to Hollywood, he what would he be? A goon for like a bad guy in a superhero movie at best with minimal lines? There's just no way. I don't see him being a top guy anywhere other than WWE.
No. He's got a similar look to that Jason Momoa, so anything Momoa has been in, I could see them arguing like, well, Roman Reigns could maybe have done that, but still, you've just got two of the same things. But yeah, Roman is not The Rock. He's not even a Hogan or a Piper. Piper was he was good in films. I think he portrayed a wrestler in films. I think he portrayed himself well, even though he was a wrestler. And he had a charisma and a certain type of charisma that works really well. Roman doesn't have that. He has done really well lately with what he's done, but yeah, he needs to just disappear for a little bit so then people appreciate him coming back when he comes back.
Yeah. We got Cena and Orton tonight. Who are we going to pick? It's obviously Cena, right? Because he's been knocked out a dozen times by Orton in the past week or two. It happened again last night. Another great Cena promo. Then he gets RKO'd. Of course, he was ready for the first RKO, which came from some jobber or something that was all disguised. And then the real Randy Orton came in. It's like, come on, bro. As soon as the first guy came in and as soon as you picked him up, John Cena, you didn't realize that wasn't Randy Orton, that he was like 100 pounds lighter. Are you kidding me? Are you a stupid idiot?
John Cena recognized.
Not recognizing that. That was silly. But your promo was excellent. He essentially called Randy Orton a Nepo baby. He's lazy. He was hooked on drugs. What else did he just put it all out there on him, and he nailed him with it because seems pretty dead on with it. Oh, he gets injured a lot. That's another thing that makes Randy Orton crazy when people bring it up to him.
Well, he was taking the rubbish out one day, wasn't he? And he put a bin bag in the trash can and he popped his shoulder or something was one of the times, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, John Cena made a lot of good points. Like, hey, I'm the hustle guy. I'm the loyalty guy and the respect guy. He doesn't do any of that. He hasn't been about that life. And I feel like a lot of promos lately, it feels like the WWE corporate side or whatever's going, the people writing the show are essentially telling Triple H is telling these guys the truth and is telling the audience the truth in a lot of ways, because everything that was said about Orton is everything we already kind of know. That's John Cena saying it. And the same thing with Charlotte. Like last night, Jade Cargill walks in after Charlotte does her promo, which was good. People still booing her. She doesn't understand why, though. And Jade Cargill gets in the ring, grabs the mic, and goes, get to the back of the line. And it couldn't be any more perfect, because then the look on like Charlotte's face, she's pissed. She had to have been pissed. I don't care. Even in a storyline form, she's not happy with that. She wants to be in the main card scene, because what happened after that is Jade Cargill versus Nia. Naomi comes out. Tiffany's already watching the match out there. So that's 4 girls right now in the main title scene, and Charlotte's not a part of it. Probably burning her ass.
Yeah. To go back to the Orton and Cena bit, though, with Cena stating all of that, what Orton used to be like, that in a way is a really good way of showing how far Randy's grown in all that time. Because the Cena back before, when they were feuding, and Orton was all of those things, Cena probably didn't like him much. Like with CM Punk and Orton had that little thing, the little watch along not so long ago. They realised, oh yeah, we can actually get on with each other now. And maybe Cena and Orton have gone through something similar, and Cena's now seeing how Orton has actually grown and become a person that the old version of him would actually respect. But that ship has sailed now, because Cena's doing this black and white heel thing, and he doesn't have time for anything that Orton's got. But I do think it's an interesting sort of like growth and circle, and seeing where they've both come from and where they've ended up.
Yeah. This match can't be good, though, tonight, right? It's going to be another terrible match like Cody and Cena.
It'll be slow. It'll be all storytelling. It'll be very safe, and it won't be that exciting, but it'll do its job, I think, and still just push this along and give a nice little bit of closure to their rivalry of 15 years or whatever it's been now.
I wonder if R-Truth will come out, try to save his favorite. How about that? Jey Uso, champion on Raw. Jimmy Uso is on SmackDown following R-Truth around like he's his guardian or something.
Really? Oh, dear.
He was with him last night. R-Truth, past few weeks, it's all John Cena talk between these two backstage. So R-Truth is out there with John Cena sign, waiting for his hero to show up. And Jimmy Uso goes out there and is like, hey, he sucks. And it's like, no, Cena's, the whole let's go Cena sucks deal. And I'm like, man, Jimmy Uso is chasing around the lower card backstage. Jada's twin has a championship on the other. It's just kind of like, whoa. Like, it's just so different for being literally the same person.
Yeah, it's hard when you split a tag team up like that. Look at the Hardys. They pushed Jeff because they really wanted to give Jeff a good run. And then Matt had to do his own thing. And
you don't like the Matt Hardy version one?
I have a tattoo, so that's
Of
me
the
saying
version 1?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any of the facts with it?
No. But no, I like version 1. But yeah, my point was WWE really wanted to push Jeff, and I don't think they cared so much what happened to Matt. They'd have happily just let Jeff squash Matt and move on from that. But Matt made something of himself, and he has done a few times. And yeah, I know he's annoying now, and he's always fighting publicly with his missus, and nobody's got any time for that at all. But back at one point, it was really impressive to see. They split the Dudleys up, didn't they? And Bubba sort of like had the Dudley Boys thing carried on, and then Devon had to start fresh, and he got Batista as his little, big
that's
meathead,
great.
and that. So yeah, so from what you've just said with Jimmy, this isn't looking very good. If I had to reward one of the Usos, I would reward the one that wasn't a repeat offender behind the steering wheel, enjoying a beverage or two too many. So I do think they've made the right decision there. But yeah, it's interesting to see how it's the same person essentially, but they've just gone two very different ways.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm sure he could. Yeah, they're on different shows though.
They'll
So
put
you
them back
can't really-
together at some point.
They will.
Yeah. Because they tried to have the antithesis sort of like of Yeet with just like Yeet, no Yeet, and it's like, no, you aren't getting the other one over just as much with no Yeet.
I loved No Yeet. No
Yeah.
Yeet was great. Especially when he would get called up by like Roman Reigns and he'd go, Yeet! And then he's like, oh, and you see his face change on the phone. He just puts the phone away and he turns to the camera and goes,
No Yeet.
so serious about it. Like, yeah, my boss doesn't like that. So,
But you are looking forward to the Gunther and Pat McAfee match, I assume.
That's next.
That's
Yep.
the main event for you tonight.
That's right here. That's the last thing we going to talk about on the show. We've hit everything else. Yep, Pat McAfee. I mean, there's got to be a surprise tonight, right? I mean, with this WWE, probably not, but there should be a surprise tonight. Who's out there that we all know of that has been talking about coming back? The Goldberg.
All right.
This has to be the night where Goldberg shows up. Because if he's going to do anything, it was supposed to be with Gunther. Yeah. Gunther's right here not doing shit, apparently, because he's about to fight an announcer. And this would be the perfect time for him to show up.
Yeah.
The one problem I would have with that, if he did show up, he would probably have Pat McAfee win because of his interference. And then that would make me insane.
Yeah,
so
like, football guy. Yeah, no, I can see that. That's not good.
Could you imagine Bill Goldberg runs in, gets McAfee the win, but McAfee's going to get beat up either way. Mm-hmm. McAfee gets taken out. Oh no, he's got to go away for a while to do whatever. But now it's going to be Bill Goldberg in Gunther because Bill Goldberg cost him the match against this loser. So that's how I could see it going. Otherwise, are they? Do you think that they would just give us a squash match and that would be it?
No, not to sort of like squash McAfee. I think you're right. I think there has to be something more. And if that's if they're going to bring Goldberg in, but then what, they're going to have Goldberg beat Gunther as well? Because I mean, if Gunther puts over Sami Zayn and he puts over
Cody,
I was going to say Jey Uso
and Jey Uso.
Then if he eats a pin from McAfee, it's just like, I'm so glad Vince McMahon isn't around to ruin Gunther's reputation with giving him silly names and silly gimmicks.
Well, I see it as he loses to McAfee because of Goldberg, but then this is Goldberg's going away match essentially, and then that's it. He beats Goldberg. And
that'd be nice.
And sends him off into the sunset, and then it kind of resets Gunther as like, oh, he even beat Goldberg and put him out, that type of thing. I could see that being the case. How he could lose. I don't want him losing tonight. I think that's bad for business. But if they were gonna do it, if he's going to lose tonight, it has to be because somebody else is getting involved. Probably is Goldberg, and then they're gonna squash Goldberg. They'll probably do a reverse Goldberg on him or something.
You'd like to think so, but
Yeah.
I'm sure we all thought this when The Fiend fought Goldberg.
That's right.
When Kevin Owens fought.
Yep,
Yeah.
him too. Mm-hmm.
Because you know you like hoes.
Why are you here? I wasn't looking for you. I'm looking for this guy.
He's fat!
That's right. Whenever Kevin Owens brought up, and he's probably going to be extra fat after his surgery. So get well, Kevin Owens. Stop eating.
Fat!
Eat your vegetables. Take your vitamins. Say your prayers. Yeah, so that's what we got going tonight, folks. In an hour, a few hours, whatever. Who knows? They start these things at noon, I believe. Yeah. Got a few other little stories here. Nothing too major. Penta and Dom are taking each other on tonight. We did skip a few. We're going to skip a few of these. We'll talk a little bit. JD McDonough returned recently. Finn seems to have settled, but he's still acting weird. I've heard the rumors that there might be a new member. I don't know. Something needs to happen. This Judgment Day is very, very stale, in my opinion. And here's a take. Did you Pentagon wrestled on Monday Night Raw this week? His outfit, the top at least, filthy, disgustingly dirty. It was, I couldn't believe. I never seen a wrestler on TV looked at their gear and went, "That's dirty." It was his top, where it was all white. It was like orange. It was gross. It was so gross looking. And then I remember all the stories of like people that have gear and never wash it, like Vader, and people would be throwing up after the matches. And he just, after every match, you just take it off and put it in, his bag or whatever and go to the next town. I'm telling you guys, go. If you see Monday Night Raw from this past week, whoever he wrestled, I don't even remember, but he's wearing an orange top. And that's just from filth. So maybe it's not just the wrestling fans. The wrestlers maybe should take some of that advice too. Wash your gear, guys. What are you doing?
It did come from AEW, so
that's true.
That might explain it.
Oh man, yeah. There should be some law or something against this. Listen, if I've never seen anybody wear gear on TV and I'm noticed. Like, oh man, what have they ever washed that before? It was orange. It's supposed to be white. I can only imagine the guy wrestling him, what he had to deal with, like getting Cheetos dust. That's what it looked like. It looked like Cheetos dust. All in the spots where the sweat would be, right? Yeah, it's disgusting. I hope we don't get more of that with this AAA coming up. These guys with dirty outfits. You're on national TV, right? Like when you think I'm going to be not on national TV, you're on worldwide internet TV. So everybody in the world got to see a filthy outfit. Couldn't make it to a washing machine or anything. Like, yeah. No, you don't have more than one. Come on. Anyway, that was I'm mainly upset about this week. That was the big thing I was upset about. Not Duke the Dumpster. Dirty clothes. So, and the last thing, this one match here, I am looking forward to this. I think that the mid-card on SmackDown is pretty stacked at the moment. We got Damian Priest. You got Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre. I feel that all these guys are teetering and could be main roster guys. Of course, Drew McIntyre's the best out of this group, I would say. But then again, LA Knight and Jacob Fatu had one of the better matches on this bum-ass bald fraud mania that we just watched. And I'm just interested to watch it. It's really no take. Who do I think is going to win? Are they going to take the belt off of Jacob Fatu this quickly? It is a fatal four-way, so you got an out with that. But no yeet.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think we'll keep it on him.
Yeah. I say they will too. But Drew McIntyre, I would say, would be a good one to put it on since he's bigger and better than the rest of them. Yeah. Only 5 matches on this tonight. So That's pretty surprising. It's very small.
They'll pad it out with loads of adverts in between.
Yes, can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch all the Drumstick and Minute Maid and whatever else.
Everything else that has nothing to do with wrestling, athleticism, sports, or anything close to what you're watching. They'll just advertise anything.
Mm-hmm. You know what? So won't I. Like this. I got my store there. Go pick up some shirts. I have a new hat that I made, put on there. I got a new shirt that I put on there. I got 3 different YouTube channels. Dr. HUGENSTEIN with the music. I got the TikTok. It's all there. Got all the comic book stuff. So if you're looking forward to any future comic shows I have on Whatnot, here, let's do this. You can leave anytime you want now, Danny. I won't hold you hostage anymore, but I'm going to open a mystery box. I have 20 of these boxes, and this will be the first show back. I've done shows there before. Go read my reviews. Dr. Huge does comics. This is just a random box I pulled off of here. This is what you would be looking forward to grabbing if you grabbed the $20 huge box. This would be one of them. Oh, let's make it big so everybody can see. There you go. You're going to be small for a minute. I like watching the podcast where they show some comic books here and there, and there's always a problem. They always do this. This is how they show it. They go, and then we got this, and then they move on. I'm like, wait a second. You hold it there for a minute. So this would be the first appearance of Warbird. See what I do there? I'll even let you know. Oh, this box has 3 different The Marvels. Do you know this artist, Danny? Have you ever heard of Alex Ross?
No.
He paints some pretty nice books, like the detail and everything.
Yeah, nice.
Like he's pretty good with that. So there's 3 Marvel books in here, or The Marvels. He's an old school Bugs Bunny.
That's cool.
Some random stuff. There's 10 in every box. This is a banger. This would be a hit. This is a $40 Virgin variant of Perio, the Joker or the Batman Who Laughs there. Number 1. Ultimate 6. Number 1. I said 10 books per box. This is an old Image comic, a reprint of one from the 60s. We got Uncanny Avengers. We have Thunderbolts, the movie that just came out. And we have a Shang-Chi sketch variant. So I would say for $20, and that's a random pull, that's a good one.
A bloody bargain.
Definitely. One book in there alone, at least at the time I priced it, was $40. But I have too many comics. I really don't care how much they cost at this point. This is the time to buy, basically, in the comic book world. This is not the time to sell. That's why I'm selling, because I'm always on time. So, yep. Thanks for coming on again, Danny. Giving us your
having me
in the wrestling biz. Where can we find you and your works?
DannyDamage.co.uk. I'm on Twitter @BluntDamage. I chat about wrestling and TV, anime, psychology, the world, life, universe, and everything.
There you go. Go learn you something over there. And of course, once again, thanks for watching. Hit that QR code. I know you kids love the QR codes and stuff. Buy some shirts and things. Go check out the music and stuff. It's very weird. You might like it. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. And you'll be seeing me on your Twitters, watching the show with yous later at DrHUGEshow. Go follow me there. Talk to you later, everybody. Bye.
Titillate the juices. You know what? Woo! Right now. Woo! Woo!
Dr. Hughes invites followers. Oh, let's see if they increase now. Me too. Yeah, wow. Dr. Hughes.
Smoky as smoke.
He's a great podcaster.
Tricky as smoke.
Acknowledge me.
We coming for you, nigga. Fat! Yeah, Dr. Hughes, here we go. Keep plugging yourself, that's cool.
First up, a man whose looks will serve your inner needs and desires.
Dr. Hughes.